In them times, it was far easier to make a deal. I was doing dealing on horses at that time. It was far easier to earn a living than what it is now. But the years kept creeping on. I was just getting it harder and harder and harder to get a living. Because horses was plenty. I could go to a fair and I could buy 2 or 3 horses. Well, I could sell them and get maybe a tenner profit out of them again. Well, let me go to a fair today. If I buy a horse today in a fair, I mightn't get a pound on him. I might have to take him to the factory. And I might get £2 profit on him after taking him to the factory.
I go from door to door getting the scrap of the pony and car. I'll take old wardrobes, bottles, jackpots, I'll take anything. I'll clear away any rubbish from any house. And I'm able to make a living out of it. I'm gone on now to the 60 mark, close to the 60, and I'm not fit for work, to tell you the truth. But I have a lot of young fellas here that is out every day seeking work and can't get it.
Well, the way I work in scrap, is plumbers, builders and factories and places like that. Well, I have a contract that I have my customers there that do collect the stuff from me and they don't sell to anyone, only myself. And mostly garages and batteries and stuff.
Can you make a reasonable living out of it?
Well, it's not that I'd ever be a millionaire, that I'd ever save money out, but I just get enough what keeps me going, what does me.
Any of these jobs, sir?
No, they're all finished. Closed up. They're bankrupt or something. And the electrician doing a Halliburton Highfield estate there, Newbridge. The electrician all the job drying up, and then scuds for lights, boxes for lights, and then and that was finished. And I finished the house in Ace, 2 more lads with me, Finishing about 3 weeks or a month.
And what are you doing now?
Doing nothing now. Well, I have my own job here now, cleaning scrap and things. And I'm waiting for a job to pop down the bridge down Newbridge.
You're expecting a job then, are you? Do you ever have any difficulties about getting a job?
No, not much. Setting out the rope factory is done new one. I can't get a job in. Or the country factory, from 2 factories.
Why is that?
Well, everything you do, you have to write it down. Clock in the morning, clock out.
an hour from then on, but everything you do in the day, make so many carvers, so many ropes or mats or something, you know. So you'd write down the whole lot. The cutlery factory is the same now. You know, you make so many sets of knives, spoons or forks. You'd write down the whole lot, what you'd done, you know. Hands up and leaving there.
Did you say, well, this means then that you got to try and find some way to read and write if you're going to get a better job?
Some way.
Are you doing anything about that or not?
Well, the lad down there, Pat Sullivan is his name. He's, no, I went down there last night and I go betting him, you know. Down there every night with him. But every 2 nights a week, 3 nights a week, they're busy some nights. He's a school head over Kilgore, 2 mile over the road there.
And you're learning to read and write with him? Will you have another go at the ropes factory?
I will, if you can read and write, to the first place I go.
Is that right?
It's very hot in there now, isn't it?
I was working in a house for 12 months. You know, jobs around every place.
Do you like regular work?
Yes, I like it.
Why do you like it?
The way I can have money at the weekend, buy clothing, my mother's some money, and, you know, go around. I'd get a job and my dad looking, but I didn't try.
Why didn't you try for one?
I hadn't time, I stayed at home.
Why had you to stay at home?
My mother wanted me to mind the kids.
They've always been their own, they've been free agents. And it takes a long time, as you will agree, to change a man's habits, generations, ingrained habits of generations.
He's not used to this. He likes to get up when the sun is up, and he likes to go to bed when he feels like going to bed, you know. He's not prepared to work. And I feel that with his roaming nature and the fact that he doesn't, shall we say, look after his inner man as regards eating proper foods and things like that, I think in that way that he's not equipped to do a full day's work. You know, that physically he hasn't got the stamina.
Would you like to have a permanent job, John?
No, I wouldn't fancy a permanent job. Wouldn't fancy.
Why not?
Well, because, as I said before, get up in the morning beats me, and the hours in the job, the day drags. So I wouldn't fancy that either.
Well, no, you know, you say you wouldn't fancy it. Have you tried at all for a permanent job around here?
No, never try. Never try.
Do you think you'd get one if you did?
No, I wouldn't think so. I wouldn't think so. They're going around to the farmers, for instance. They wouldn't pay you straight to your face. Just tell you like that you might have jobs around the place, but they'll tell you that they have no jobs. They might think they're going to pinch something or something like that. You know?
Why would they think that?
Well, they got that feeling about travel, you know. That they wouldn't trust them.
We were camped out there on the road. They were building up these sites at the time. They were building them up. And when they were building them up here, there was a couple of our fellas, they were building a factory over there, the mineral factory. And we had old huts out there on the road. And one of these lads went in one morning to ask a job. So he told him to go along and get his shovel. So he went and he got his shovel. I don't know what he paid for the shovel. I think he was either 25 bob or 22 and 6 or something. I don't know what he paid for it. But anyway, he brought back the shovel anyway. So I told all the boys that he was going to start in the morning working in the mineral factory. He was sure of it. So when he got his shovel, he got him with the rest of the men. He went over early in the morning and was there standing waiting for the foreman to come. And he was standing there with another crowd of men. And when those crowd of men was put to their work, he walked back to this fella and he viewed him up head to foot. And he says, are you stopping on that road out there? Are you from the road out there? He says, I am. He said, I'm sorry. He said, I've no work for you. So the fella came out and the boys were laughing at him over the shovel. So apparently he gave away the shovel here to one of the men on the site.
Well, I know what's wrong this year. I can't read and write. I realise what's wrong with me, you know. Problem is, they give anybody a job can read and write, you know.
Oh, I do feel the loss of it. Definitely, on several occasions I feel the loss of it. Because the first thing there, if I go to a pub there or into a grocery lab, well, I go in there with the local people where I'm well known and they just hand me over a newspaper and I just catch it and leave it back, but I just know nothing about it. I just feel ashamed, you know, and feel very small on account of that.
He should be subsidised. He should be helped. He should be kept in the house. And all our efforts should be diverted towards the children in the hope that by providing them with adequate education and perhaps training, that in a generation you will be able to fit them into the community. And in the meantime you can subsidise their adults, their parents, and in time, you will get rid of the itinerant traveller.
It's a very controversial subject in Kilkenny and has been for the last couple of years. And if you ask my personal opinion, I can only say that I think they are as entitled, in fact, a little more entitled to they're entitled to more consideration than others, probably, by virtue of the fact of being itinerant, I think.
My attitude to begging is that I think it's an honest life. I know it's a shame for them to have to do it, but they're getting no other support. There's nobody wants to give them anything. There's no one that wants to give them employment. And what can they do? They can't starve with the hunger. I mean, they say they must have some stability, some way of getting. If you have a dog that you don't feed him, well, he has to go along for somebody else to feed him, hasn't he?
I think we must agree that they possibly wouldn't be able to earn on their scrap unless in extraordinary circumstances, they wouldn't be able to earn enough, I think, on the little jobs they do, like scrap collecting or tinsmithing or that kind of thing. I don't think they would earn enough, so that they will, of necessity, go out and beg. It's been a tradition.
Young John McDonough is 26 years old with 5 children. He lives today in a homemade shack built of hardboard and lumber. He cannot get used to ordinary, regular work and hopes someday to get together enough money to buy a van and deal in scrap. In a world where more and more travellers are being forced into the same business, he cannot look forward to a bright future, although he is a good husband and father. His background and his present circumstances are against him. Because of prejudice, and because the conscience of our society lacks muscle, he will sink eventually, but not without trace. For as long as tents and cardboard shacks remain by the roadsides, they will act to remind the rest of us that we must bear some responsibility.
I don't think it's fair, no. I think they should be treated the same as everybody else. I mean, we're all God's creatures. And we should be let live the same as everybody else. And there's no need to be afraid of us. We're not animals. We don't touch no one. We go to our mass. We go to our duties. And there's a lot of us educated and there's more of them not educated. But I don't see they should be given a chance to earn a living the same as everybody else.
A right to live, a right to work, a right to be treated as ordinary people and as first-class citizens. That's all that travelling people can ask, and that's all society can offer them. The path to equality is hard, it has always been so, and is strewn with many difficulties. Sometimes it is the travellers themselves, with their habits of a lifetime and their awkward ways, who offer obstacles to integration. Often it's the settled population who are slow to change their attitudes. But mostly it is a mutual fear that divides the settled from the travellers. The answer, many will say, lies in understanding, in charity rather than in hostility. Otherwise, the children of young John McDonough and of other itinerants like him can look forward to a future that is no future at all.